Hi everybody, it's Gina and I am back with another video. It's been a crazy last few weeks. I ended up moving. I'm at my son's apartment right now, and what I'm going to do today is make some curried split pea soup. I made a big pot yesterday and it went so quickly, so I decided I'd make it again today and record the process. I'm using yellow split peas, and this is about a cup and a half. I used half a bag yesterday, but I will measure everything out, and I'm also going to be doing an article, so it'll have all of the ingredients listed in there, because you know me, I just use a dash of this, a pinch of that, and I really don't use measurements, but I will do my best to duplicate it from yesterday, because I know that you kind of want to use, you want to know at least an idea of how much of what I use. So the seasonings that I'm going to be using are sage, of course, curry. The salt I use is the Himalayan pink salt. I'm going to be using a bay leaf, some black pepper, basil. You might hear my granddaughter in the back yelling. I'm also going to be using some chili powder, some oregano. I'm also going to be using some parsley, and this is garlic mixed with herbs. And you are free to use whatever spices you have on hand. Then of course I also have a nice big pot here. The first thing I'm going to do is go through and sort out the beans, just to make sure that there are no small stones or anything, because you definitely don't want to be breaking your teeth on anything. And all I do is just empty it out onto the counter. You can do this in a container, you can do this on a sheet. I just do it right on the counter. And you simply just spread it into a very, and here we go. So I see that one already, and then I see stone right here, and you just keep doing that until you've found everything that needs to come out, and then we'll go from there. Sometimes there are little pieces of fennel that are in here, sometimes there's some peas that don't really look that great, so I just go ahead and remove those. So I'm going to go ahead and sort through, and I will be back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and sorted out all of the split peas, and this came up to 2 1/3 cups of yellow split peas. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all rinsed up, and ready to go. Okay, so they've all been rinsed, and I've added in 14 cups of water, because I'm going to just let it cook down until the beans are nice and soft, and it's all well seasoned. So some of I would say about maybe 6 cups of the water will have evaporated by the time everything is all cooked. That's why I start off with a lot of water. So I'm going to go ahead, and I have it turned on to medium high so I can get that going. And now I'm going to go ahead and add all of the seasonings. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start to add the seasonings, and I'm going to just try to give you an estimate of what I am actually adding in. So I'm going to be taking off the caps off of the seasonings, so I can actually use the spoons, because usually I just do a dash of this, pinch of this, you know, that sort of thing. So I'll go ahead and try to actually do some measurements, and you are free to use more or less of the seasonings. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, and that's a teaspoon. I'm going to do another teaspoon of chili powder, This is the garlic and herbs. I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of that. Parsley flakes, I'm going to do a heaped teaspoon of that. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit more too. I love it might look like a lot, but it's really not once it starts to cook down. Oregano leaves, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of oregano leaves. We've got basil, I'll do 1 teaspoon of basil as well. And I'm doing nice, generous teaspoons, so nice heaped ones. So we'll do 1 teaspoon of that. Of course, we need 1. You can do more basil leaves, more bay leaves, but that's a nice big bay leaf. I'm going to do, let's see, this is powdered sage. I'm going to do about a half a teaspoon of powdered sage. And I'm going to do a tablespoon, actually, let me do 2 teaspoons of this is the pink Himalayan salt. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of that, but I will most likely add in a little bit more because this salt is really not that salty. I'm going to add another half. So that's 2.5 teaspoons of the pink Himalayan salt. And I'm going to go ahead and grind in some fresh black pepper. And like I said, you're free to add in any other seasonings that you may want. And the last thing is I'm going to add in about 2 tablespoons. Actually, let me do 1 generous tablespoon of the curry powder. So that's a heaped teaspoon of curry powder, I think. And this is a nice spicy one. Let me add a little bit more. Let me add 1 teaspoon. So that's a heaped tablespoon and then another teaspoon of the curry powder. Let me go ahead and put the covers back on these. So what you want to do is, let me just grab a spoon here. Alright, so the curry that I added in is quite spicy, so I'm not going to be adding any pepper. But if you like spicy or extra spicy, then you can simply just go ahead and add in some more pepper to your liking. So just stir all of that around, and you can see even though I put in a lot of seasoning, it really doesn't even look like much once I start to mix it in. But you are free to add more or less of the seasoning. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down to medium to continue to simmer. Okay, now it's at a roaring boil, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just turn it down to medium. Turn it down to medium, and then this will go to a slow simmer. And I will just continuously check it to make sure that the water is not boiling out completely. And if it is boiling out and the beans are not quite ready yet, then what I'll do is I will add a little bit more water. You do not need to add more seasoning at this point because there's still a lot of salt in here and the beans will absorb the salt. So unless you like your stuff really salty, that's plenty of salt that I told you to put in. So this is going to go to a simmer until it is completely cooked, and it usually take about 45 minutes. It took about 45 minutes yesterday, so I'm guessing it should take between 45 minutes to an hour because I'm using about 2.5 or 2 1/3 cups of beans. But you can see that the beans have already started to absorb the curry color, and the aroma is just amazing in the kitchen right now. So if you love curry, you're going to love this dish. And it's just a simple soup. That's literally all it is, just a very simple soup. I love things like this during the summertime. Most people think I'm kind of crazy by drinking soup in the summertime, but I love simple soups like this during the summer. Alright, so I'm going to let that cook down and I will keep you up with the progress. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and add the cover on, but you want to check it periodically to make sure that it's not boiling over. I don't have a complete seal on here, just to give it, you know, space for that steam to be released. And it is on medium, like I said, medium heat, and it is still simmering. So you don't want to have this on boil or a very high heat when if you decide to put the cover on there. So the split peas have been cooking for about 30 minutes, and you can see just how well they look. They're beginning to soften up. It shouldn't be too long now, maybe another half an hour. So I think it's going to take a full hour for them to cook. You can see how some of the water has evaporated. I may add a little bit more water, maybe another cup or two, just to make sure that it's not completely, the water doesn't completely absorb. Right, so I'm just going to let this cook for maybe another 20 to 30 minutes. I think it'll take that much, and then I'll add in another cup or two of water and let it cook down again, and I will keep you up with the process. This is definitely a dish that you want to keep an eye on. I mean, you can see that the beans are cooking really well, those split peas. And it's probably a good idea to put the cover on and keep it on, but do not keep it very tight because you do, like I said, you don't want it to boil over. Alright, so okay, so this has been cooking for about another half an hour. I wish you could smell this. That's the bay leaf that was in there. It's a little thin, so I'm gonna let it cook down just a little bit more to get some of the water evaporated with the lid off. But just take a look at that. It smells amazing. While you're cooking it, sometimes the spices can stick to the side, so just take some of the liquid and just wash it back into the pot like that. But it just smells so divine. And you can serve this over rice, but I just like to drink it just like it is. But I'm going to let it cook down just for a little bit more to get a little bit more of the liquid, a little bit more of the liquid to evaporate from it. I like my soup, this one, to be a little thicker. Not quite so liquidy. But if you like it this way, you can leave it that way as well. But it's completely, all the beans are completely cooked, you can see. I just wish you could smell it, but then of course you will smell it whenever you're cooking this for yourself. So just let me know if you do try this recipe and how you like it. Just share it with me in the comments below. It's very simple soup. Of course, if you do choose to, you can also add things like maybe some chopped up potatoes. You could also add maybe some sweet potatoes if you really want to keep it on the inflammatory or the anti-inflammatory level, which is why I made this, because I drink this to help with leaky gut, as well as to help with inflammation because of the turmeric that's in the curry. So I would not use Irish potatoes. I would use sweet potatoes if I was going to add anything else in here. So you could also add some green beans. You could add some carrots. There's a lot that you can do with this, but I choose to just keep it like this, and then I just drink it from a cup throughout the day. Very, very easy. Very simple. Alright, so if you do try it, let me know what you think about this recipe and this video. And I'm just going to let that evaporate a little bit more, probably another 10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. So thank you all for watching, and I look forward to your comments in the comment section below.